Good morning, everybody. Welcome here. I'm Yana Toy. I'm the author and personal mentor and business coach at yanadetoy.com. I'm so excited to welcome everybody today. Today, I get to interview I interview powerhouse female ministers, online coaches, authors, entrepreneurs to really shine a light on the incredible leaders out there who can help you to reach the next level in your life, both spiritually, personally, and in business. So today I have the amazing privilege of speaking to Chriszelda Pinto, ordained minister and the founder of Lion Heart Ministries. Now, Chriszelda is a gender-based violence activist, and she's an international board member. But she also have a deep calling as a mentor. She ministers specifically to those who have experienced trauma, helping people rebuild their life with hope, healing, and faith. Her wisdom and compassion have touched countless lives around the globe. And Chriszelda, a very warm welcome to you in this morning. So before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you listening in the comments where you're watching from. So say hi in the comments below and tell us where you're watching from. And if you're catching the replay, don't forget to drop a hashtag replay in the comments. We will be keeping an eye out for your questions in this session, so feel free to ask away. If we don't get to them during this live session, we will definitely make sure to respond afterwards. So let's jump right in. Griselda has such a profound ministry. She's specifically works with trauma survivors, specifically, and I know her journey and insights will really bless you this morning. Griselda, please take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your heart for ministry.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Yana, for the opportunity that you've given me, as well as the introduction that you've just done. So, just a little bit about myself. I'm married, 24 years. I have two daughters. And just a little bit of what I like. I love nature. I love outdoors. I love the beach. I connect with the Lord very much when I am outdoors, just walking or a little bit of a jog. Um, yeah, I also love ministry and just people in general. Like Yana mentioned about the ministry, I am managing the NPO. It's registered as an NPO, Lion Heart. And some of the activities that we do, I call it activities because it's very much community based. So we feed the hungry, those who are on the road, homeless. There's so many names to actually call them, but they are just people who are needing the Lord. I always say that when you have a conversation with homeless people, you will actually find out that there are business people out there who have just had broken lives. They've experienced trauma in such a way that they feel hopeless, and that's the only way of living currently. We also support the elderly via just food support as clothing. And then one of our biggest, I will say, biggest successes that we've done since 2017 is our retreats or camps, as you can call it here in Cape Town, South Africa. We've started off with camps, and that is what was the heart behind our ministry before we even had a name. And we started taking women just from the ministry and in the community and ministered to them and found out that they went through so much trauma in their lives. And I could tell my story because my story is of personal abuse, domestic violence as well, and rape later on. So for me, that was a huge eye opener, I will say. And from there, it's just been success upon success since 2017 with running of the retreats, which we do now up to 2 or 3 times a year on request basis, where people are constantly reaching out to us via our mentorship and coaching programs that we have.
That's amazing. Amazing. So, Griselda, if I had to ask you, what was this catalyst moment that really got you into this field? And why did that keep you going?
I will say a catalyst moment for me was when I had my court case. It was more about justice system that failed me. I will say personally, I am aware that it's quite a long journey in our country also for where it comes from reporting straight into a court case. So I will say that was my catalyst moment where I was just totally feeling despondent, and I was a teenager then. And then another catalyst moment just straight after that was when I was in also governmental system where psychiatric wards where I won't say that they failed me. It was more an eye opener of how people are being treated when they go through trauma. They are being treated like there's a war between you, the real life, and the person that's inside the psychiatric wards. It was a
Yeah.
huge success for me where it came to, they were very lovable nurses and doctors, I will say, and they helped me a lot on my journey. And
Mhm.
from there, I actually decided when I leave the psychiatric ward that I was going to help people just to navigate their trauma, their disappointments. At the time, I was only 18. I didn't understand this whole journey of healing, but the Lord really helped me just to start the momentum from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And how has your faith impacted this journey that you've been on and what you do for others today?
I will say my faith has made me resilient and focused. You need some form of hope, you need some form of answer so that you can move forward to heal. especially when it comes to forgiveness and where people have wronged you. I think that's a huge impact on other people, how you react to things that have happened to you.
Mm.
And also my faith in the sense of family, I will say, I look at things differently now. You do need a lot of support, not just with family, spiritual family as well. Our worldviews get totally distorted when we are impacted by trauma, and not just trauma via sexual violence or domestic violence. I will say any type of trauma. So your worldview sometimes is just messed up in that sense. So you need to really come back into the Father's presence to be able to navigate that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And healing from a place where, or just really healing from a place of the love that the Father has for you. And I know I read a book
Yes.
about not taking offense. I can't remember. I think it's by somebody, Bevere or something. I read that book, and it was all
Oh,
about not taking offense. But I mean, in a situation where you're in, let's say, a rape case or an incest case like that, I think it's difficult. It's very difficult for us to forgive and really let go of that poison, and it is basically poison. And I saw somewhere that they talked about that it's basically like drinking poison, and you're poisoning yourself by not forgiving, because that person has moved on with their life. You're the one that's sitting with this trauma, and if you don't release it, it only poisons yourself. Okay.
correct. Yeah.
And you, Griselda, do you like reading? What do you like reading? Or what is the book that has made the biggest impact in your life?
I will say for me, there was one book that stood out very much. I like reading books on leadership,
Mhm,
mentorship, yeah, faith based. But the one book that I read was I Dare to Call Him Father, and it was written
mhm,
by a Pakistani woman, Balki Sheikh. I'm not sure if you're aware of that book.
mhm. I
So
haven't
it was
heard of.
just her personal encounter with the Lord as
Mhm,
a Muslim, and how our whole world was turned upside down since she had an encounter with Jesus. And she was also in a very dangerous situation living in Pakistan, that she had to relocate to USA and start a new life for herself there.
mm, mm. And what was like the main takeaway of that book for you?
I could relate to some of her story
Mhm,
because not we kind of had to move away from one, not a province, it's more just intercity. We had to move away and leave everything behind. So that for me was a huge takeaway from the book, to put yourself in a safer space for your own healing. You can't stay in a situation where you're not going
yeah,
to be healing properly, and those reminders are there constantly. So you literally have to move away
yeah.
from a situation in order to heal completely.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So if you look at the hierarchy of needs of Maslow, safety is at the bottom. You need to be physically safe, and without that, there's no way of repairing relationship or things like that if you're not physically safe. So I think that is something
Yeah,
that people in a gender-based violence situation, or someone that goes through this trauma, needs to realize that there's nothing to work on if you're not safe. That's the first thing. Get to safety, and then from a place of safety,
yeah.
you're able to work on it. All right. So in your life, Griselda, how has a failure, or let's say apparent failure, set you up for later success?
Wow. I went through lots of small business startups, I will say, in my 20s. It never succeeded. I'm a very determined person, but I think it didn't succeed because I was going through my healing process as well. So you have a lot of things going on. You can't think straight. You don't really know what you actually want at the end of the day. And I first had to heal before I could actually find out, what do I like? What is this that I want to do one day? Also, what has it has caused lots of disappointments, and it caused fear when I failed with the businesses. I had to motivate myself continually to study small courses. I never went to a university to study. I do business studies, I did trauma studies and life skills development courses. I did a couple of leadership skills courses. And then obviously my pastoral training that was part of a 4-year training where it was very much holistic, how to work with families, how to work with individuals. And that helped me a lot, I think, in the way I'm running Lion Heart Ministries with the team currently. And yeah, so I'm still on the venture of doing small business. So still trying to see what can be successful and not. I believe in obviously entrepreneurship, various streams of income. I don't believe just in one situation all the time. I'm not very adventurous in that way, but I will say it's a risk that you take. And just living like on the unknown, I will say. That is what is exciting for me, is to try something and see if it works for you. If it doesn't, then just let it go.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. And Griselda is one of my students in the Cellular Expertise business program, where I teach women to sell their expertise online. Um, and yeah, it's been really, really fun to see how Griselda is building out, her teachings and the things that she's been doing for her audience. All right. So if I said, Griselda, you can have a giant billboard in Cape Town with just one sentence, one main thing, what would it say and why?
This was a tough one for me. Just a couple of weeks ago, thinking about it. But I will say on the billboard, it must say, heal your heart. Don't let trauma define you. I believe we all need to heal, like I said, from our constant hurts and pains, because it's not just once off hurts and pains that we go through. So it's something that constantly is in front of us all the time. So if that billboard can tell you that, then it's heal your heart. Don't let trauma define you. I think that is, for me,
Awesome.
stands out.
Yeah. Don't let trauma define you. I love it. I love it. All right. So, in the last 5 years, what new beliefs or behaviors or habits really improved your life?
I will say a slower lifestyle. This was also something that I had to really think about. I constantly think about other people's feelings, so I need to be careful on how I answer this. So I
Yeah.
will say taking care of my own life holistically. And the reason being that I had quite a rushed lifestyle being in the ministry. When you are running a church, there's a lot of expectations. In the
Mm-hmm.
industry, there's a lot of timelines where you need to do meetings and things. So that for me, a slower lifestyle is the first thing that I had to definitely relook at my life. And then there was the
Yeah.
constant demand on your time and talents, obviously. And I wanted to pursue my passion for people to help them through their trauma. That was my main burning of my heart, I will say. To spend more time
Yeah.
with my family was another major thing. And I had to do a lot of time management changes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So let's talk about your Lion Heart Ministries, your NPO. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how people can support your NPO?
So yeah, the bigger vision for Lionheart Ministries is that we want to have a huge center where women and children who have gone through domestic violence. I do know that the men as well, we will branch out to the men as well so we can reconcile families again. So that big vision is to have a huge center, and then obviously to offer the life skills development and skills development on a daily basis for everybody, as well as counseling and coaching programs that will take place. One of our things that it's a vision also a couple of years ago, and I know currently there are ministries in America who has actually successfully done this. We want to start like a vegetable garden to build up sustainable living for those we are assisting for the domestic violence, but also then to help the communities, the elderly, those who are in need of fresh vegetables and fruit. So that's the vision behind our NPO. And at the moment, like I
Mhm.
said, we are currently just doing everything, but obviously renting spaces to do all the life skills development that we have to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if people are listening to this interview and they would like to support your ministry, um, um, how would you accept support, or how can people support this?
At the moment, we are refurbishing our website currently, but we do take in donations of any home equipments like beds and cupboards, fridges, stoves. That is always a huge thing because we are always helping people who gone through floods in our Western Cape areas and burning of
Hmm.
homes and things. Clothing and shoes are always needed, as well as food on a monthly basis because we do make soup and food for people around us in the communities. And then, obviously, for our financial giving, that is also an option for part of our traveling. We do travel a lot, so I'm having to go to people when things happen. I can't expect them always to come this side because we don't have offices. And then
Hmm.
printing costs, just to cover our printing costs. So the finances for those things is a huge need at the moment, especially transport as well.
Hmm.
Transport that sometimes we are needing to take things to people or families' homes. And next year we want to support victims in court cases. So that is also a huge need that we have, is to have a vehicle that can take people to their court cases.
Awesome, amazing. So, for those listening, we can all hear that the work that Griselda and her team is doing with Lion Heart Ministries is really uplifting work. It's really helping people that's in crisis and trauma to rebuild their lives, and it's so important. So, if the Lord is placing it on your heart at this moment to reach out to Griselda, please do. We will share her contact details in a bit, and support her in any way that you can. Um, Griselda, if anyone is listening here, and they are experiencing maybe gender based violence, or they're going through specific trauma, um, what quick steps can listeners take to really stand up for themselves and rebuild and reinvent their lives?
Yeah, this is also something that I thought about. So we obviously need to identify our strengths. We need to believe in ourselves and also recognize our weaknesses because we all have strengths and weaknesses, and we don't have to be ashamed of our character or our personality because that is the way God created us.
Mhm.
Yes, sometimes we need a bit of redefining, so that takes time as well. I think as we just spend more time, with people who are stronger than ourselves, mentors, spiritual leaders. That character gets, shaven away, and you put on, good character. So having faith, obviously, that your circumstances will change. That's another thing. And trauma is not who you are. We can't let that happen to us all the time. It cannot define us. We need to determine our circumstances. And we
Yeah.
also need to have boundaries in our lives. We need to improve our lifestyles for a better future for ourselves and our families one day. And imagine, I was just thinking, just imagine that we walk around all wounded all the time. There's a saying that goes, hurt people hurt others, and broken people, they break others. So our
Mm.
words and our actions are very important. And
Mm.
this is not just in a spiritual context, it's in a
Mm.
general aspect. And respect goes a long way as well. And also, another thing is that's important that stands out for me now is you must have a heart to listen to others, have a listening ear. So when
Yeah.
somebody speaks to you, listen intently
Mm.
because the cry of their heart will come forth through their words and
Yeah.
actions. And then also not to judge. You are not the
Mm.
judge. I always say God is the judge at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We cannot say, why did you feel that way when that happened to you? Or why didn't you do
Mhm.
it this way? We don't have any right because trauma
Yeah.
makes you freeze and trauma makes you black out. So there's just things that happens to you in a physical aspect and a mental aspect that nobody can explain. Until they are healed, they can explain to you, this is what happened to me on that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if you are listening in and you are in a situation like that, getting into contact with somebody that can just support you, in terms of, what is the next steps? What can I do? I feel hopeless. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And getting into contact with someone like Rosaldo who can just give you some action steps, can maybe point you in the right direction, could maybe, create some resources for you that can really help you. Griselda, if someone in the audience is listening right now and they want to get into contact with you, they want to know about how they can, go to your camps, how they can support the ministry. Um, what are your contact details, or where can they get a hold of you?
I've made available my personal number via WhatsApp. It is on my social media on Facebook. So I am on all social media pages via my own name as well as Lion Heart Ministries, like Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. YouTube soon. I do have a YouTube, but I'm not currently. I'm refurbishing currently with that. I'd love to do talks from the start of my trauma journey so that people can connect with me there as well.
I love that. And in terms of your camps, what kind of topics do you do when you do your camps, Griselda?
Okay, with the camps, every camp is a little bit different. I do interviews with people who haven't been on our camps before. So reason being is I need a little bit of background of what type of trauma they went through. And then also, obviously, there's physical illnesses and things that I need to be aware of, because sometimes physical illnesses are actually directly related to our trauma that we go through. And then from
Mhm.
there, I determine if the group needs teaching on healing, or do they need teaching on moving forward in their lives where it comes to trauma or domestic violence. Just recently, now for the last year and a half, I've picked up that we've had leaders coming to our camps and retreats, and there's been hurt spiritually. I
Mm.
don't have any, I will say, notes on the spiritual healing part. I do have my own experience in, getting hurt somehow along the way, emotionally perhaps. So we will be doing a leaders and business camp next year, middle of the year. So if people want to contact me on that, that is the way we go about it. And then we do have some topics. We do also have I won't even call it a department, but it's just part of one of my strengths is deliverance and healing as well. But the deliverance, I will say, is a lot focused on being aware of occultic practices, the type of clothing that you wear, the things that you bring into your home. But this is all obviously in a spiritual context, and also the words and curses that have been spoken over our lives. So generational healing is also part of a topic that we do have. We don't have much time on a weekend to do a lot of topics, so there will kind of be a theme like on the Friday and Saturday, and the Sundays we usually just have like a general service where we just empower and encourage women and get some feedback on how the weekend was.
Okay, that sounds awesome. And when you hold or host these camps, in which area is it? All in Cape Town, or which areas are you doing these camps in?
Yeah, in Cape Town, but we've had people that come down from Northern Cape, other provinces, but it's mainly students that are mentored, so they will bring friends with.
Okay,
We haven't had people from Johannesburg, Gauteng.
yeah,
Oh, no, no,
yeah.
we did actually. Sorry. I'm sorry. We've had so many camps. It's for the last 10 years. So many people have come through
Wow,
our hands. And even in counseling, like I will say with mentorship for COVID, I had 1,000 people in 2 years. And then
wow.
some people is like, can you still remember me? I'm sorry, I can remember names, but faces.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And it is so amazing how the Lord uses you, and the pain that you've gone through in your life to really heal others, and I really want to encourage everyone listening that yes, we may go through things that we don't understand and we don't know why we go through things, but the Lord uses everything, every drop of your experiences, of your trauma, of everything that you went through, and He uses that to further the kingdom. So, throughout these difficult times in your life, He equips you specifically so that you can stand up and, like Griselda, from her trauma and from her past experiences, she now helps thousands of people. So, um, yeah, grow through what you go through. So I love that you used your pain and didn't just stay a victim, but you actually became a victor of your situation, and not just only for you. You are now training up other people to become victors of what they've gone through. So I love that. So Griselda, all right. So I trust that everyone listening found so much value from this interview. I know I did, and I encourage you to tag someone in your life who really needs to hear these powerful insights. Or better yet, you can share this interview on your page so that we can reach even more people who really need this message. So feel free to reach out to either Griselda or to me if you have any questions, or if you want to explore what working together could look like for you on your personal journey. So, Griselda, thank you so much for being here. You've got such incredible wisdom, and I just love the value that you brought to this hour. And I just pray the Lord's blessings over you, over your ministry, blessings over the work of your hands. And everyone who tuned in today. So, for those of you who want to stay connected, and we want to dive deeper, keep an eye out for more interviews on my personal page, or you can head over to my YouTube channel. It is the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe, where you will find the full playlist of all interviews that we host. And be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming ones. So thank you again for joining, and bye for now.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Griselda. Bye bye.
Bye.